say a few words to Paul Sperling. He's also running for Congress from 11th Congressional District, which is Staten Island and Southern Brooklyn. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Paul Sperling. I'm a candidate for Congress to represent Staten Island and South Brooklyn. The reason I'm running is because we have many long-standing problems in our country and in our community. And being a native Staten Islander and a native of our community, I've lived with these problems my entire life. I understand what it takes to solve.
But your entire life is not so long. How old are you?
I'm 25 years old.
Okay. I said my entire life, like you're like 70.
Well, 25, good amount of time.
25 years, okay.
Now, constitutionally, the Constitution says you have to be 25 years old and a resident of the state, which I'm just saying, constitutionally I meet all the requirements, and I'm very well versed in what goes on here in our community. Truly, truly, we need progressive ideas to solve these problems. But in order for us to have progressive ideas, we have to reaffirm what it means to be a progressive in America today. Progressives know that America's diversity of our cultures and our ideas is what makes America great. Progressives know that government does work when it's transparent and accountable to the people it serves. And progressives know that no person is an island. We are all in this together. And we can make a better country, a better community, and a better world by looking out for one another and recognizing our common humanity. That's why when some said that separate is equal, progressives proudly proclaimed that we cannot have two Americas separated by the color of our skin. When some said that only men have the sensibility to vote, progressives proudly proclaimed that all people have the right to elect their government. When some said that only a man and a woman could be a family, progressives proudly proclaimed that a family is between two people who love one another. When some said space exploration was impossible, progressives proclaimed that we choose to go to the moon, not because it's easy, but because it's hard. And after the Great Depression, when some were content to leave the American economy in ruins, progressives proudly demanded a fair economy for every person in America. It is in our very nature as progressives to look toward the future with an eye toward improvement. And that's why every major gain in American history has been thanks to the progressive vision. Allow me to continue, please. I will get to the issues right now. When our forefathers signed the Declaration of Independence, they did not do so with an eye toward a glorious past. They did so with an eye toward a glorious future. And I am proud to continue that tradition today of fighting for a better future for our country. In order to have that better future, we must now stand up for freedom. The freedom of every person to work in a fair economy, where they can make enough money to sustain themselves, their families, and their communities, without domination by conglomerates at home or abroad.
I don't want to interrupt you, but like
sure.
You're sounding like professor of history in a college. I wanted to go a little bit down to earth, 11th Congressional District, Staten Island, Southern Brooklyn, you know, like, because, you know, like, a little bit more, I would say, pragmatic.
So here in our community, basically everyone has realized that they are working longer hours for lower wages. They're working harder and harder than ever before. And yet, we are not seeing any increase in our wages. All hard work is making money for someone. It's making money for the owners of our corporations. But no corporation can exist without the hard work of its employees. So every single person deserves a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. And whether you work for a private corporation or public corporation, every single person deserves the dignity of a good check that allows them to live with a good quality of life. Another major issue in our district, as my opponent Mohan talked about, is the cost of health care. Now, we differ a little bit. I believe that the way to bring down health care costs is to follow what many, many other countries do. That is to move to a Medicare for all system where every single person will be covered and everyone could get the best treatment that we have available.
Oh, but we have two parties in America, one Republican Party and one is a Democratic Party.
Of course.
And even if you win the race, the Republicans in Congress and President will not disappear the next day.
They will not.
They will still be around. So how are you planning to work with Republicans to make our health care cheaper, I would say, and more affordable while they are still around, and opposed to Medicare for all?
Well,
yeah.
Medicare for all, many Republicans recognize that Medicare for all makes good sense. Donald Trump, when he was running for president, showed that Medicare for all makes good sense. It's just that the corporations who truly own the Republican Party and many people in the Democratic Party have convinced him otherwise. But you can even convince the business people who own this country, because Medicare for all makes good sense for them too. Because if you own a business and you are competing with countries around the world, other countries allow their citizens to have medical care covered through the government. That burden is not placed on the corporation. So that corporation, an overseas corporation, is at an advantage compared to an American corporation. If we provided health care for our citizens, it will benefit our people and it would benefit our corporations.
So you will try to convince the corporations that it's beneficial to them to have this system, right?
It's beneficial to corporations, it's beneficial to the people so everyone can get health care coverage, and it's beneficial to the politicians so that we can finally solve this issue and get the people the quality of care that they deserve.
Thank you. Could you say a few words about yourself? Like I know you're 25 now, you started.
Sure.
I have a question. Is that water or vodka? You're right.
That's water. My mouth gets a little dry when I have to come up here and talk. You want some?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just asked you
Oh,
about
sure.
yourself.
So I was born and raised on Staten Island. I went to Susan Wagner High School, the College of Staten Island, where I studied international law and constitutional law as well. And after that, I started a business doing property management. Truthfully, I've been interested in politics since I was a young boy. My grandfather is a staunch conservative. He used to pick me up from school basically every day, and he listened to talk radio. Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, and I'd be 7 years old arguing against what they were saying on the radio. The way they talk about people and the way they treat people has never sat right with me. And with what's going on in our country, we need someone who's going to stand up for our community, who's going to stand up to the corporations, and who's going to make sure our community is treated fairly. And that is why I'm running for Congress.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.